Great. Just enjoying everything today. And what's on your mind today?
Oh, we got a good topic today, and that is what you resist
Oh,
persists.
oh, beautiful. Tell us more.
Oh, you want me to start off? Okay.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
how do I make this really like on the court versus getting conceptual?
Yeah, simplify this.
Anything that you're trying to avoid in life,
Yeah,
anything that you are trying to resist, you really don't want to experience it, it's going to persist. And the more that you resist it, it's actually going to come back at you as equally forceful.
yeah, yeah. I've seen that in my life on many occasions. You're trying to avoid someone or because of some traits you perceive they have and or something that you're trying to avoid, and then it just continues to show back up. And the universe is saying, hey, there's a lesson here to learn. You're going to go through it one way or the other, So I think that's really a great point to bring up for people trying to avoid certain things in their life where you're just going to keep running right back into it because you're meant to have this lesson for some reason. It's like school, if you don't pass the grade, you're going to have to repeat it. So if you don't meet the challenge, the thing you're trying to avoid, you're going to keep running back into it over and over again.
Yes, well said. And to make it a bit more practical for those of you who are watching, just think of your family dynamics. All traits exist within yourself and with others. And say you have a family unit, or even if maybe the family unit, that's one example, but you also have your work colleagues. So let's just say at work, you really admire and think hard workers, high performers are the most important thing to have on your team. Well, what's that going to breed? It's going to breed the opposite. And all traits will be fully present within your team or your family dynamic.
Yeah, yeah. Great example. I know in my office, I look at my team, if you have everyone that's got the similar traits, then it doesn't work as well. It's not as conducive and congruent. So it's nice to have all different types of people who have different types of personalities and traits and profiles to work together in a synergistically. Yeah, you're totally right. So I think and then, one personality wants to avoid another, but it's actually that other personality you actually need to help you be fulfilled and complete. So it's about embracing all parts and all sides of traits, of personalities, of things that you are trying to avoid. We need them in our lives. There's important lessons there.
Absolutely. So to even make a game out of it, just discover for yourself right now, is there some trait in a person that you're trying to avoid? And maybe you perceive someone's rude, they talk too much, they're really loud, they're ignorant, they're oblivious. I know actually there's a lot of polarities going on in the world right now, whether that's in politics, what's going on with the pandemic, the restrictions, the rules, all of that kind of stuff. So if there's someone that you are judging and you perceive they have a particular trait, so maybe they're ignorant or something like that, just take a look in your life and what am I really resisting or avoiding? And notice that the more you try to avoid it, it's just going to pop up in another scenario. And that can be a really cool game that you can play. It may be frustrating in the beginning because you start to see, wow, I actually cannot escape this trait. It is going to be always existing.
Yeah, totally. And another great thing is just to own that trait. If you're judging someone for being ignorant, where are you also ignorant? And maybe in other people's perceptions, because sometimes you don't think you're ignorant, but what are other people perceiving of you? And that's where you can really own that trait in someone. So if you're judging someone for being ignorant and then you own the trait of being ignorant, boy, it really takes that judgment away. And now you actually have an equal level playing field because you're not putting someone in a pit. You're not putting yourself up or them down. You can actually put them in your heart. And that I find really helps with communication and helps with being able to, see yourself and others.
Yes, so well said. And one of the examples that just popped in my mind right now is intolerance. And essentially, being tolerant and intolerant are two sides of the same coin. And the more you become really polarized about a specific issue, whether that's maybe around what's going on in our healthcare system, what's going on in politics, or any other area of life, the more you start to resent that side, and they're saying, this is what we stand for. Well, it also brings in its opposite, right? And so intolerance breeds more intolerance.
Like, totally. And tolerance breeds more tolerance. So we need both sides of the equation. We need people to be tolerant and intolerant, and we need to recognize that in certain situations you're going to be tolerant, and in certain situations you're going to be intolerant, just like anybody else. And it's all based on your values. And so if you can really learn to really see yourself and others, and really understand from their perspective why they would show up the way they do, because you can see that you do the same thing when it is according to your values, then there's no separation between yourself and others. And now you can really connect and have a dynamic with people without judgments.
Yes, so well said.
Love that. Yeah, it's a great lesson for people to really get, especially if you're in a business, or you're in a family dynamic, or you're in a social dynamic. To be able to go in there without judgments of others and just see people for who they truly are, it just really creates connections with people. And I think that's what we need right now more than anything in this world, is to all be more connected to one another by seeing that we're all the same. There's no difference. We just have different perceptions, different values. No one's right or wrong. It's just a different way of thinking.
It is. And I wanted to highlight on just one thing. So we definitely don't want to say or create this fantasy that you'll never have judgments, because here's the thing, we're always going to have judgments, but it's really about the ability to become aware of, oh yeah, I am judging this person, or I am perceiving that I don't do that, and it's just them, and it's their fault, and the blame. It's the master is able to identify, okay, I'm in judgment right now, and then see the other side. And the better able you're to do that quickly in the moment brings you to a level of mastery.
Yeah, great clarification. That's awesome to think, because if we can learn to do that, and when we feel the judgments of others, learn how to master our emotions and get ourselves back into balance, and not beat ourselves up for having judgments, but actually learn from it more about ourselves. Now we can create synergy within ourselves, for one, but also externally as well. So well said. Thank you.
And that last piece, and I'm just going to say this because we're both chiropractors, we both have a very high value on health, is when you bring your mind into balance, and you have more poise, and there's less judgment about whatever it is you're resenting in the moment, or perceiving that you don't have, the more able you're bringing your mind to balance and seeing both sides, it regulates and brings your physiology to ease as well. And that brings vitality. That brings health.
Yeah, thank you for clearing that up. You're so right. I've seen it for years in the office with patients who are having judgments of themselves or others, and imbalanced perceptions, and their physiology is giving them feedback from pain or inflammation or loss of motion or whatever. And when you can bring that back into balance, things normalize, physiology calms down, and you can actually feel more alive again and feel more balanced. So beautifully thought through. Yeah, thank you.
You're more whole, right?
That's right. You feel more whole. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Beautiful.
When you feel more whole inside, then your environment around you, that it shifts everything around you. So it's really good to be aware of that. So if you're feeling chaos, this could be one of the big reasons why. There's some misperceptions or judgments going on that it's time to take a look at. So this is kind of stuff that, if you're having those issues, this is stuff we can help you with. So please get in touch with us if you're having issues with this. So great.
I love that. Dave, where can people get in touch with you to begin to talk about those conversations, to balance those judgments of self or other?
Website, drdavetuck.com, or my Facebook, Dr. Dave Tuck Facebook page. Really good information there, contact info. So that's probably where you want to start. What about you?
I'm on most social media, so Instagram, Facebook, also LinkedIn, or my website. So any one of those outlets is perfect if you want to have a conversation about what some coaching could look like to help bring your mind and body to balance.
Yeah, and there's other videos, so feel free to watch other videos. We've got on different topics, so I'd love to hear from you. If you got any suggestions on topics, please send us a message. We'd love to share that information with you.
Woo, yeah.
We know stuff.
Just a little bit. All right, take care, man.